Hello everyone, welcome to day 50 of 7:30. Today we finishing the rest of chapter 12 and also chapter 13, the first 13 verses of Exodus. From the New Living Translation it reads, "During those days you must not eat anything made with yeast. Wherever you live, eat only bread without yeast." 21. Then Moses called all the elders of Israel together and said to them, "Go pick out a lamb or a young goat for each of your families and slaughter the Passover animal." 22. Drain the blood into a basin, then take a bundle of the hyssop branches and dip it into the blood. Brush the hyssop across the tops and sides of the door frames of your houses, and no one may go out through that door until morning. 23. For the Lord will pass through the land to the land to strike down the Egyptians. But when he sees the blood on the top and the sides of the doorframe, the Lord will pass over your home. He will not permit his death angel to enter your house and strike down. 24. Remember, these instructions are permanent law that you and your descendants must observe forever. 25. When you enter the land that the Lord has promised to give you, you will continue to observe this ceremony. 26. Then your children will ask you, "What does this ceremony mean?" 27. And you will reply, "It is the Passover sacrifice to the Lord, for he has passed over the houses of Israelites and in Egypt. And though he struck the Egyptians, he spared our families." When Moses had finished speaking, all the people bowed down to the ground and worshipped. 23. So the 28 rather. So the people of Israel did as the Lord had commanded through Moses and Aaron. 29. And that night, at midnight, the Lord struck down all the firstborn sons in the land of Egypt, from the firstborn son of Pharaoh, who sat on his throne, to the firstborn of the prisoner in the dungeon. Even the firstborn of their livestock were killed. 30. Pharaoh and all his officials and all his people of Egypt woke during the night. A loud wailing was heard throughout the land of Egypt. There was no single house where someone did not die. 31. Pharaoh sent for Moses and Aaron during the night. "Get out," he ordered. "Leave my people and take the rest of the Israelites with you. Go and worship the Lord as he has required. Take your flocks and herds as you said and be gone. God bless me as you live." 33. All the Egyptians urged the people of Israel to get out of the land as quickly as possible, for they thought, "We will all die." The Israelites took their bread dough before the yeast was added. They wrapped their knitting boards and their cloaks and carried them on their shoulders. And the people of Israel did as Moses had instructed. They asked the Egyptians for clothing and articles of silver and gold. 36. The Lord caused the Egyptians to look favorably on the Israelites, and they gave the Israelites whatever they asked for. So they stripped the Egyptians of their wealth. 37. That night the people of Israel left Ramesses and started for Succoth. There were about 600,000 men, plus all the women and children. A rabble of non-Israelites went with them, along with great flocks and herds of livestock. 39. For the bread they baked, for bread they baked flat cakes from the dough without yeast they had brought from Egypt. It was made without yeast because the people were driven out of Egypt in such a hurry that they had no time to prepare the bread or any other food. 40. The people of Israel had lived in Egypt for 330 years. In fact, it was on the last day of the 430th year that all the Lord's forces left the land. 42. On this night, the Lord kept his promise to bring his people out of the land of Egypt. So this night belongs to him, and it must be commemorated every year by all the Israelites from generation to generation. Then the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, "These are the instructions for the festival of Passover. No outsiders are allowed to eat the Passover meal." 44. But any slave who had been purchased may eat it if they are circumcised. 45. Temporary residents and hired servants may not eat it. 46. Each Passover lamb must be eaten in one house. Do not carry any of its meal outside, and do not break any of its bones. 47. The whole community of Israel must celebrate this Passover festival. 48. If there are foreigners living among you who want to celebrate the Lord's Passover, let all their males be circumcised. Only then may they celebrate the Passover with you like any native-born Israelite. But no uncircumcised male may ever eat the Passover meal. 49. This instruction applies to everyone, whether a native-born Israelite or a foreign living among you. 50. So all the people of Israel followed all the Lord's commands from Moses and Aaron. 51. On that very day, the Lord brought the people of Israelites out of the land of Egypt like an army. Chapter 13. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Dedicate to me every firstborn among the Israelites. The firstborn offspring to be born of both humans and animals belongs to me too. So Moses said to the people, "This is the day to remember forever, the day you left Egypt, the place of your slavery. Today the Lord has brought you out by the power of his mighty hand. Remember, eat no food containing yeast, for on this day in the early spring, in the month of Abib, you have been set free." 5. You must celebrate this event in this month each year after the Lord bring you into the land of the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Amorites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites. He swore to your ancestors that he would give you this land, a land flowing with milk and honey. 6. For 7 days the bread you eat must be made without yeast. Then on the seventh day celebrate a feast to the Lord. 7. Eat bread without yeast during those 7 days. In fact, there must be no yeast bread or any yeast at all found within the borders of your land during this time. 8. On the seventh day you must explain to your children, "I am celebrating what the Lord did for me when I left Egypt." 9. This annual festival will be a visible sign to you, like a mark branded on your hand or your forehead. Let it remind you always to recite this teaching of the Lord. With a strong hand the Lord rescued you from Egypt. So observe the decree of this festival at the appointed time each year. 11. This is what you must do when the Lord fulfills the promise he swore to you, to your ancestors, when he gives you the land where the Canaanites now live. 12. You must present all the firstborn sons and the firstborn male animals to the Lord, for they belong to him. A firstborn donkey may be brought back from the Lord by presenting, may be bought back from the Lord by presenting a lamb or a young goat in its place. But if you do not buy it back, you must break its neck. However, you must buy back every firstborn son. And until tomorrow, stay blessed.